Alright, we're back. The storyteller is in to testify. This trial is heating up crazily. We finished chapter 9. And off to... oh, the epilogue. The first story. Let's do it. I don't quite know what to say. I'm truly shocked to see the storyteller again, alive and well. This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see to the last of me at the parade. But this is the trial for your murder, and you're alive.
Yeah, see? No one was killed, so let's call this whole thing off and never have a witch trial again.
Whoa, Maya, take it easy. You're still in court, remember?
But what's the point of this? The storyteller wasn't killed. Spella would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection!
If only it was as simple as that to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Faye.
But, Professor...
search your memory, and you will know the reason why the crime Miss Cantabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witches' court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't that right, Mr. Storyteller? I fully intend to expose the true identity of Bazella. This would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand. I see. And so you assume the role of an inquisitor just to lure me here. Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Spella Cantabella is the great witch Bazella.
Dad.
It's been a long time, Spella. 4 years, in fact. You must have experienced many hardships living among the townsfolk. This daughter of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries.
No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. Aunt Patty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me.
I'm happy to hear that. I wanted to watch over you ever since you left for the town, but in the end I failed to do so. I had no idea of what was happening to you. I am very sorry, Spella.
Oh, Dad, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you.
It was all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself.
Dad, I'm happy we got to talk.
Spella.
You were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before it was different. You used to have time for me.
Please forgive me. Did it have to come to this? Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. The truth about yourself and the story. Yes, I suppose it is time I told you the truth. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Storyteller. Let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged. Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia, who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Spella, my dear daughter, I ask you to do the same too. truth about Labyrinthia. Although you know me as the storyteller, I have one more identity. I'm the president of Labyrlum Inc. This whole town is one of Labyrlum's research facilities. It may be hard for you to comprehend. This land is rich in a very special substance, which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds. That is what Labyrlum is researching. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects.
Wow.
I don't understand. What does it all mean? I don't quite understand what I've just heard. I do not blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused. Labyrinthia is an artificial town created entirely by me. But of course, as artificial as it may be, it is the reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I have been bringing the illusion to life by writing this story. I'm lost for words. It feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head. Your Honor, it is certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more of what the witness has to say. Yes, I agree. Let's continue. The defense may begin the interrogation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Hold it!
This is too much. I don't even know where to start. Labyrlum Inc. That's a name I have heard before. It is a global pharmaceutical company with headquarters in England. If my memory serves me right, it was founded by Arthur Cantabella. Indeed, that is my true name. Were you familiar with that, Mr. Wright? Sure, yeah. I've heard of Labyrlum Inc. Of course. Labyrlum Inc. is known for developing a completely harmless anesthetic about 20 years ago. It is now widely used in hospitals all around the world. The company is also working on various other plant-derived sedatives, revolutionizing medicine. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your vast knowledge, Mr. Layton.
Objection!
That's irrelevant. That fact is just based on the real world we're from, not Labyrinthia. The real world, Mr. Wright. Then what would you call the world we are in now? Do you think this is a fantasy? No, that's not quite what I meant. Mr. Wright, I do not mean to be so rude as to presume I know what thoughts are running through your head. However, Labyrinthia is certainly not a place within a book, or in the past. Labyrinthia is part of the world we know.
But how could a town like this exist in the real world?
Do you think it's impossible? What would that be? Are you saying that everyone would know about an unusual town like this if it existed?
It's something like that. Anyway, it would be on a map at least.
No, I'm afraid that cannot be so. Huh? This town is not marked on any map. It doesn't officially exist. What do you mean? The answer is quite simple.
Hold it!
This whole town is a research facility? Yes, this whole area is a private property of Labyrlum Inc. So they own all this land then. That is why Labyrinthia is not marked on any map, and people from the outside cannot enter. We have taken measures to ensure that this town is not noticed by local residents. What measures are you talking about? Consider the fact that magic is supposed to exist in this town. Perhaps special mechanisms that were used to create magic also serve to conceal Labyrinthia. There are limits to what magic the shades are capable of producing on their own, after all. That is the case indeed. The magic in this town has been made feasible owing to the latest technology. Technology? Tricks? I cannot believe this. However, there is one question. There is no industry in Labyrinthia. How do you obtain necessary commodities? Very observant, aren't you? All commodities are regularly shipped in by sea. A young man once made his way here in a freighter and took Isabella out of the town. That was Carmina Accidente, a friend of mine. I see. But is something on this scale really possible? As you might suspect, it would be beyond the power of Labyrinth Inc. to keep a facility this size a secret for so long. Labyrinthia is a project co-funded by the British government. What? It's a government project? But what would their stake in this be? It's all because of my beliefs. His beliefs? Oh, by the way. Yes, Your Honor. What is a research facility? I've never heard of anything like that before. Ah, yes. It was careless of me. Naturally, you wouldn't know what it means. How should I explain? This whole town is my creation. Oh, that's what it was about. In other words, it's all your story. That makes it all clear. Swing and a miss, Your Honor. Getting back to the topic. There's an important reason why we have chosen to build such a facility here. This land is rich in blah 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 blah.
Hold it!
I'm just gonna press them on everything pretty much. Special substance. What does it actually do? This area has been isolated since ancient times, developing its own unique culture. There are underground ruins on the verge of the town. We found writing there, presumably left by the natives of this land. A bell that was supposed to be there was missing. So you have seen the ruins. I suspected that you would find them. And perhaps you have also noticed that everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. A peculiar condition, you say? You can't just sit there quietly like a patient old man when you're saying such things. Just what kind of condition is it? You have every right to know. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck. Metal? What kind of metal? Pure silver. And so, there's not a single object made of silver in Labyrinthia. Now that I think of it, that's true. Just imagine what a disaster a fancy dinner would be if everyone fainted whenever they used silver cutlery. This condition is an integral part of magic. How so? All inhabitants of Eldritch Woods carry small silver bells. I see now. The shades ring the bells when they need to create the illusion of magic. Everyone present falls unconscious, and the shades set to their work.
Oh, look at where that shade's hand was. So that's the secret of the time-stealing magic Dark Law told us about.
Now that they mention it. Kira had a small bell with her when we saw her back at the marketplace. We had been researching this condition at Labyrinth Inc. And finally we discovered its cause. It was the groundwater. Water causes it. The groundwater contains a certain unique substance found in the soil in this area.
So if you drink that water, you get the silver allergy thing?
But of course, we've been drinking it. It's impossible to live without water. Of course, that's why everyone who lives here has that condition. Oh dear. You needn't worry. This condition is harmless, especially as silver is unknown to the townsfolk.
Something's still not quite right, though. If the sound of silver bells makes people pass out, why don't the shades pass out, too?
Although the effect of the substance in the groundwater is powerful, it doesn't last long. The condition will vanish after a day or so without drinking that water. That's convenient. That substance effects aren't limited to humans. It can also affect plants to a great extent. Plants are affected by it. Our research was focused on the plants rather than humans.
Hold it!
That sounds really scary. Just what is this about? The substance enters the groundwater, affecting organisms that consume it. People who drink it daily acquire the odd condition. They fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of silver metal. Yes, although the substance in the groundwater also has a tremendous effect on plants. Wildflowers in this area contain a certain poison. Upon my beard, poison! This poison doesn't harm the body. It has the effect of manipulating the mind. So it brainwashes people. I've been writing the story for 10 years. The title of the story is Historia Labyrinthia. The ink I used to write it was made from those plants.
Nick, do you remember how funny the ink smelled?
That was the gas released when the ink evaporates. And that's where the trick is.
What?
Those that inhale the gas become extremely susceptible to suggestion.
You mean brainwashing?
They will believe anything they are told or anything they read, however strange or unrealistic. It will be imprinted into their minds as the truth. So that was the true purpose of the parades. Pages of the story written in that special ink were regularly distributed among the townspeople. It was done so that everyone would be in a state of hypnosis. Indeed, the creation of a fully controlled town with the inhabitants subject to long-term hypnosis. That was one of the topics of our research. Then, the story that is written in the Historia Labyrinthia. You could call it a self-fulfilling prophecy realized through the shade's work and the hypnotic effect of the ink vapors. Is that how it was all this time? Labrador used hypnosis to control all these people. I can't believe that the government was supporting that.
Hold it!
All the people subjected to this experiment have been living here all this time? No, we started with just a few people, gradually getting more and more. I must say that I am afraid of what the answer to this question might be, but where did these people come from? You haven't resorted to abduction by any chance, have you? Of course not. Every test subject signed a contract with Labrador. A contract to have their memories erased and be used like pawns in this story? The current inhabitants of this town have one thing in common. They were all dissatisfied with their lives and wanted to start anew, forgetting about their mistakes, forsaking unwanted identities. There are more people like that out there than you might think. They have all agreed to participate in our research. But that's insane. It's not as unreasonable as you suggest. We give them a new identity, a chance to start their life again. In return, they subject themselves to hypnosis and live in this town as our test subjects. In order for this project to be possible, we suppress their memories of their past, including the memory of signing the contract. So ultimately, they are not aware of what is going on. I couldn't agree more. I've got no idea what's going on. Let me make this clear, Mr. Wright. We do not erase their memories. We suppress them. They will regain their memories of life before Labyrinthia once their contract is over.
So this place was uninhabited before you started this research 10 years ago.
And you've managed to keep everyone in a state of hypnosis for 10 years straight.
Can you really hypnotize someone for that long? I mean, 10 years is one heck of a long time.
It was achieved through the distribution of the story during parades. The ink vapors have a powerful effect, but it wouldn't last 10 years, of course. With each parade, the effect was renewed. That's why the parades took place at regular intervals. That was the true purpose of that event. I have been born and raised here. It was a poor small town with no industry to speak of that had fallen behind the times. Ever since I was a child, I had one friend that was especially close to me. He was a bright boy, curious about the world. His name was Newton Belduke.
Sir Newton Belduke?
The alchemist.
So they were childhood friends. The plot thickens.
He had always been interested in the unique natural features of this land. There was really nothing here, but to us, this area was an exciting place worth exploring. And one day, we made an astonishing discovery on the outskirts of the town. We stumbled upon the entrance to the underground caverns leading to the colossal ruins.
Wow, look at that, Newton. This is so amazing. And the strange writing. I've never seen anything like it before.
We found the ancient writings in the ruins. Newton managed to decode some of them. According to our findings, a highly advanced culture had existed on the land where our little town was built. Some great calamity had befallen the natives. They migrated elsewhere. They believed that plants and water in that area were cursed by an entity they called the Great Witch Bazella. The natives sealed the curse within the ruins and left in search of a new home. So the land itself was Bazella. That is all that we managed to decipher. Bazella's curse. It was sealed in the ruins, you say. But that be the Bell of Ruin. The Bell of Ruin.
Oh, that's the bell from the bell tower. I wonder why it's got an ominous name like that.
Regrettably, we couldn't get any further information from the writings at that time. Needless to say, Newton and I were very excited by the discovery.
I knew it. This place is special. It has some kind of mysterious power. If we could find out what that is, our humble town would become famous.
You know that I'm going to do that. I will unravel the mystery of this place. And so, Newton began studying the indigenous plants and substances dissolved in the groundwater. On the other hand, I studied economics and management at a university in London. I dreamed of bringing prosperity to this poor, forgotten town. I wanted to change it for the better with my own hands. Meanwhile, Newton had succeeded at extracting a new anesthetic from the local plants. Was that the anesthetic which led to the foundation of Labrador? Yes, it was a huge success for Labrador Inc. Before we knew it, we were making a fortune. We wanted the whole world to hear about our hometown. Alas, fate was not kind to us, as we never realized that dream. Everyone in our town had died. All the townspeople perished.
Huh? Just what on earth happened to them?
That does not matter anymore. We purchased the environs of our town. The mountains, the lake, the plains, everything. Then 10 years ago, having received financial support from the government, we started Project Labrador. It was much smaller in the beginning. It started as no more than a village. Over the course of 10 years, it slowly grew into a town. The population increased as well. More people were signing the contract with Labrador, slowly increasing the number of inhabitants, correct? Yes, they would sign the contract, be hypnotized and assigned a role, and then be introduced to the world of the story. I have spoken at length. Thank you for patiently listening to my tale. Bazella is the name of a witch from an ancient legend that we read about in the ruins. It is a fictional character. She does not exist.
But then, magic and witches?
Magic is just an illusion. There are no witches.
Alright, so it was all fake. That doesn't make it much better. Why did you write a story where people get killed with magic and witches are thrown into the fire? You could have made it a peaceful, pleasant world where everyone would be happy.
No, that was not possible.
But why?
This is a research facility, after all. We're researching ways to completely control human beings. Test subjects need to be exposed to extreme situations, so we decided on a fantasy setting. We wouldn't have got funding from the government otherwise. In other words, we're running a business. But just what instructions do you give to the people you hypnotize? You don't give each of them a full set of memories of their whole fictional life, do you? No, it's much more simple than that. You only give them 2 pieces of information. The first one, that they were born in this town. The second was their new occupation. Then they fill in the gaps themselves without being aware of it. The human mind requires a consistent story of one's life. Which means, of course, that no Labyrinthian has memories from earlier than 10 years ago. No one here has memories from before they came to Labyrinthian.
What are you saying? That's all one big lie. I'm who I am. But can you remember your childhood? I can't. That's true, I can't remember even my parents. No way, I can't recall my own mother's face.
As you can hear, no one can remember their real past. There are no exceptions. Huh? Wait a second, no exceptions? I smell a contradiction here. Ah, it seems Mr. Wright too has noticed it now. What are you talking about, Layton? Mr. Cantabella, you have just testified that not a single citizen of this town remembers anything from more than 10 years ago. Yes, as that is the truth. Now that's a strange assertion, especially coming from you. What? What do you mean? There's one person in this town who remembers what happened more than 10 years ago. That cannot be. It is impossible. They must be merely imagining things now. Mr. Wright, please enlighten us all. Who is this person that remembers their past?
Take that!
Precisely, Mr. Wright. That person is none other than Spella Cantabella. What? That's impossible.
It's true, Dad. I remember it clearly as if it happened yesterday, the legendary fire.
No, that's impossible. That's just your imagination, Spella.
No, it's not. I couldn't remember it before, but it all came back to me because I'm Bazella.
No, Spella. There are no witches that fire. It was just a bad dream. The Inquisition would like to call Spella Cantabella to testify. What? Regardless of whether Miss Cantabella is Bazella or not. Her memories may contain valuable clues. Yes, that may be so. No, wait. I don't agree to this. This trial is over, Your Honor.
Objection!
You seem to be forgetting something, Mr. Cantabella. Your story has ended. You are no longer in control. You are merely one of the characters. This is also why we will not cease seeking the truth until we find it. Defense, what is your opinion on this? Spella keeps insisting that she's the witch Bazella. As her attorney, I should refuse to let her speak to the court. But what's really important now is finding the truth, just as Layton said. There's only one way to proceed with this trial, and that's by questioning Miss Cantabella about her memories. In that case, the court summons Spella Cantabella as a witness. Attendants, bring the accused to the witness stand. Now, witness, testify about your memories of the legendary fire.
Yes, my lord. I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire festival. Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire festival, and I was watching them from the bell tower. The great witch Bazella awoke within me and brought calamity upon the town. An enormous fire dragon appeared. I was trembling with fear, terrified by what I had summoned.
Wasn't a bad dream or fairy tale, but what you actually experienced?
Yes, it was. Like I have already said. I remember it very clearly. The heat from the fire, the smell of smoke.
Spella, what are you talking about? The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Was there really a huge fire that destroyed the town? What about Bazella? Is she even real? The answers are in Spella's testimony.
tell me more about the fire dragon?
That monstrous image is still so vivid. It looked just like the one that attacked Dad this evening. I've done something terrible again.
And you are sure that the fire dragon you saw more than 10 years ago and the one summoned this evening were exactly the same?
Yes, they were definitely the same.
Hang on!
What do you got to say? Is something wrong, Mr. Cantabella? It's impossible. There's no such thing as magic.
You never believed me, Dad. I don't know why you have to be like this. There was a time when things were different.
Spella, what are you saying?
Look at them. It's like a common argument between a teenager and a parent.
Mr. Cantabella created this town. He knows better than anyone else that there's no magic here. Miss Cantabella,
Yes?
would you mind giving us more detail of what you saw?
Could I borrow a sheet of parchment and a pencil? I think it'll be better if I draw it.
Your request shall be granted. Bring parchment and a pencil for the witness immediately.
This is it. This is the fire dragon that I saw that night. I only caught a glimpse of it, but it was real.
I must say, it does clearly resemble the supposedly magical creature we witnessed this evening. It does indeed. This drawing shall be added to the evidence. This is a farce. It happened over a decade ago. Was the town really destroyed by a fire dragon? Discovering the truth about the dragon shall be our next objective. Witness, continue the testimony.
Yes, my lord.
Hold it!
Do you remember casting a spell?
I cannot remember.
Well, what do you got to say? You keep having little things going on in your head, storyteller. You look upset, Mr. Cantabella. Ah, pardon me. Did you want something? I'd like to know what you think about Espella's last statement. My opinion about all this has not changed since last time. It's all just a dream. Listen to me, Espella. You are not Bazella. There was no legendary fire.
Dad, you have no idea how much I want to believe you, but I just can't. I remember what I saw and how it felt. The heat, the smoke.
Magic doesn't exist. It belongs in fairy tales. There are no fire dragons either. Espella seems certain that she saw a fire dragon at that time. However, as long as we do not have any evidence to support or disprove this claim, we can't make any progress.
Do I have any relevant evidence? Anything that could demonstrate the fire dragon Espella saw as a child was real?
Do I have evidence? I think I do. I mean, even if I don't, I'm gonna go with it. Your Honor, what is it, defender? The defense will present evidence. Evidence? I suppose you mean evidence that will prove that my daughter's memories of the dragon amount to nothing more than wild imagination. On the contrary, I'm pretty positive Espella did see that fire dragon. What? I thought you had more sense in you. Well, aren't we all curious about what the defense has got to show us? Present evidence that proves the dragon appeared in this town over 10 years ago.
Take that!
It is, of course, Espella's drawing of the dragon. It's impossible to draw a dragon with so much detail unless you've actually seen it. Indeed. And it looks very much like the fire dragon we saw this evening. It cannot be a mere coincidence. You can't possibly use that drawing as evidence. And why not? Because she could have just drawn the dragon from this evening.
Dad, why don't you believe me? I saw that dragon when I was little.
This town is my creation. explanation. I know everything about it, and I assure you there's no magic. If there's anyone who can tell you what's possible and what is not, it is me, the creator of Labyrinthia. Your overconfidence has clouded your judgment and is preventing you from seeing the truth. What do you mean? In order to see what is really here, we need to reject based assumptions and keep an open mind. You are overlooking certain facts precisely because you are the creator of this town. It's nothing short of insanity. Magic doesn't exist, and yet Testifys says she saw a fire dragon. It seems like a contradiction. But perhaps it is not. Mr. Wright. Yes? The solution to this mystery is out there. We just need to find it. Do you suppose you know where it is? Magic doesn't exist. Testifys saw a fire dragon. Where is the evidence that bridges the gap between the two? Spella was watching the town burn at that time. She says she saw an enormous fire dragon. If you put the two together, I think our best guess is that the dragon she saw is this town itself. This town? In other words, Spella saw a dragon's shape looming over the burning town. How absurd. That's mere speculation. I would not dispute that. However, it is entirely possible to test our theory. What? How would you go about doing that? It is all quite simple, Mr. Storyteller. We will now go to the belfry. Maybe we'll find that fire dragon there. Over 10 years ago, the witness was standing somewhere around here when she saw a fire dragon. Am I correct?
Yes, Mr. Layton.
However, what was it that you actually saw then? Let us see if we can find the answer to that question. Why not? Go ahead and try, but I have warned you that it's futile. You will find nothing here.
Well, it happened a long time ago. Whatever she saw might not be there anymore. And if we want to see exactly what she saw at the time, we'll need to set the whole town on fire. Want me to go get matches?
I may be an attorney, but even I couldn't clear you of the charges if you actually committed such a crime, Maya. I will pretend I did not hear that. Shall we begin? Let us look for the fire dragon. We can see the whole town from here. Look in every direction for something that would resemble Miss Cantabella's dragon. Drawing. Okay, I'm moving.
Take that!
Spella, what do you think?
What? Okay, my bad. It looks like a wolf. I thought it would be that, because it looks like something. Okay, let's look around. It could be her fire dragon. Oh god, that's creepy. That's even creepier.
Take that!
That's a dragon.
Spella, can you have a look at this? It looks like the dragon was hiding in here after all.
Oh, this is... Hey, that's identical to the one Spella drew. But, it's not the fire dragon. The fire dragon was a creature made of flames. It was so big it could swallow this whole tower. This is just some tiny footwork.
I think we can consider this mystery solved. I suggest we all head back to the court. I will explain everything there. Is that all right with you, Mr. Cantabella?
What's gotten into Mr. Cantabella? He looks paler than you do with a cold.
I have no idea. Let's follow the others back to the courtroom. Inquisition's investigation seems to have yielded some unexpected results. But can someone explain them to me? Your Honor, the Inquisition will interpret the results of its investigation. Witness, you said you were about 6 years old at the time of the incident.
Yes, that's right.
Did you see the moment the dragon appeared above the town?
No, I don't remember. I remember seeing it at some point. It was like a flash. The town was ablaze and this fiery beast was hovering above it.
Then when you noticed the dragon, the town was already engulfed by flames.
Yes.
That information completes the picture. Miss Cantabella's statement has offered me an insight into the true story of the fire dragon. Over 10 years ago, Miss Cantabella was in the belfry unconscious. What events led to this, perhaps? We will discover that in due course. When she awoke, the whole town was on fire. Having inhaled much smoke, she was still dazed. She was only vaguely aware of her surroundings when she looked up, alarmed by the scorching heat. Unable to stand, she was on her knees. And then she saw something she would remember her whole life. She saw a terrifying fire dragon attacking the town. She saw it through the fretwork in the balustrade. The shape of a dragon against the backdrop of the town being swallowed up by flames became imprinted in her memory. That is the truth about the fire dragon. This is what I have deducted.
It wasn't a monster?
Miss Cantabella, the illustration you have drawn for us bears an uncanny resemblance to the fretwork in the belfry. You saw the dragon when you were confused, possibly mildly asphyxiated from the smoke. There was no magic and no magical beast. You believe a stranger but not your father. It's so typical of teenagers. You should have listened to me. Now that all the mysteries have been unraveled, can we not end this trial and go home?
Objection!
As much as we'd all like to, I'm afraid it is still a bit too early for that. What else do you want from us? There's just one more problem I'd like to solve tonight. One more? What on earth could it be? Miss Cantabella, we've ascertained that you were in the belfry when you saw the dragon. However, that creates a new question. How did you get there?
Oh, I haven't thought of that.
Yeah, neither have I. As expected of an ace attorney, Mr. Wright seems to have noticed the problem too at last. In order to access the belfry, you need to use the bell tower mechanism. The mechanism can only be set in motion with the pendants. Indeed, Miss Cantabella, did you have your pendant with you at the time?
Yes, I think I did. I always had it with me. But why did I have that pendant? I can't remember it at all.
This pendant is not just for show. It's the key to the belfry. Why was she carrying it around? You must also not forget that one pendant does not suffice to operate the contraption. 2 of them are required.
2 pendants.
Miss Cantabella, are you certain that you were alone in the belfry?
No, I wasn't alone. I was there with a friend.
What friend?
Eve, where did you go off to?
The friend you mentioned. Was it this cat?
Yes, she's my best friend. We've always been together. Without Eve, I would have been so lonely. That kitty's always appearing out of nowhere to keep a spell of company. Of course she does. After all, Bizella is always accompanied by a black cat.
What you saw from the bell tower when you were little was so terrifying that even an adult would have been scarred for life. The town burned in front of your eyes. You thought you saw a fire dragon. You see, your memories have been twisted by the horrors you saw.
What do you mean?
The dragon you saw wasn't real, and I suspect that the friend who was with you in the bell tower might not have been that cat.
No, it was her. It was Eve, my only friend.
Miss Cantabella, the pendant needed to access the belfry is too large for a cat. Are you following? If Eve was with you, it would have been impossible for you to enter the belfry.
Ah,
Wait! Inquisitor, where is all this going? You have no right to tamper with my daughter's memories. You're right, of course. However, neither do you. Nor should you attempt to cover up the truth. Ugh.
no, you're wrong. Eve was my only friend.
Think about that day again, Miss Cantabella. You went to the top of that bell tower with a friend who also had a pendant. Well then, why don't we have the defense present some evidence? Can you prove that someone was with Miss Cantabella?
Why me? It was the professor's idea. I have nothing on the legendary fire. Why ask me for proof?
Right, I suppose you wouldn't have any proof. Not one of us remembers that incident. I've had enough of this, Your Honor. You have no grounds to continue this trial. Well, we appear to have reached a dead end. There's nothing else for us to do. Please, hold on, Your Honor. Oh? What is this all of a sudden, Inquisitor Layton? The defense does not have the necessary evidence, but someone else does. What do you mean? This time, the Inquisition will present its evidence. The Inquisition will present... You son of a witch! This is what you wanted from the very start, isn't it? Well, in that case, the Inquisition shall present the evidence that somebody was with Miss Cantabella. Stuff you found.
Have a look.
This is the proof. This photograph shows Miss Cantabella with a friend. Golly, this is the finest illustration I have ever seen. It's a photograph. It looks as if it were a reflection of the real world on paper. Tell me, who created this exquisite work of art? Well, Your Honor, I understand you are fascinated, but let us focus on what this picture shows. This picture was found in the Storyteller's Tower. Mr. Cantabella, we have taken the liberty of borrowing it for this trial. So why don't you look away for a second and you already caused trouble.
Professor, aren't photographs against the rules? I mean, this is supposed to be a medieval setting.
Who cares? What's important now is helping Miss Cantabella to grasp the truth. In this case, the end justifies the means. Please take a closer look at the two girls in this picture. Each of them is wearing a pendant. Why, that's so. These are the belfry contraption pendants. We know that one of these girls is Miss Cantabella. But then, who is the other girl? Accused, do you have any idea? Bella, are you okay?
Does it look like she is? It's me. And the other girl is... She's... I don't know.
Spella! Your Honor, stop this trial. Stop it right now. Can't you see you're driving a Spella into insanity?
Objection!
It's just the opposite, Mr. Cantabella. If we turn away from the truth now, Spella will close herself to the world forever. Mr. Wright. Yes, you know who it is, don't you? You know the identity of the other girl in this picture. Yeah. Is that so? If the defense knows that, tell us all who this other girl is.
Take that!
I'm thinking it's High Inquisitor Darklaw. High Inquisitor Darklaw? I cannot say I didn't have slight suspicions about her, but oh my. Miss Cantabella, what do you say? Do you now remember the girl next to you in this picture?
I was with Lady Darklaw.
This is crazy. What are you basing this preposterous claim on? But Mr. Cantabella, this girl closely resembles the High Inquisitor. Resembles? It's just your personal opinion. It's meaningless in a court of law.
Objection!
If you want evidence, I've got it. What? The definitive proof that the girl in the picture is High Inquisitor Darklaw is...
Take that!
And this is the proof. It was the High Inquisitor. The pendant needed for that contraption in the bell tower. I have Miss Darklaw's testimony here. She said this pendant was hers. And so, the other girl in the picture is definitely Miss Darklaw.
Is it really? Eve, where are you going?
Oh, hello. I was expecting you, Miss Darklaw.
I see that I was not mistaken about you. I trusted in your ability to get this far.
Oh, High Inquisitor Darklaw. Where did you just appear from?
Does your memory not serve you well, Your Honor? You know what I am. I can disappear at will any time I wish to. So, storyteller, everything has worked out just as you had written on revered creator of Labyrinthia.
Darklaw.
Lady Darklaw.
Miss Darklaw, did you enter the belfry with Miss Cantabella when you were little?
Yes, I did.
Then you have memories of events from before 10 years ago.
I certainly do.
Order! Order! Order in the court!
Lady Darklaw, you were with me? Your memories have been suppressed.
By that man.
But I was with Eve.
Eve, huh? Eve the Black Cat?
Yes, she's always been my dear friend. She was by my side on that day, too.
What a bizarre coincidence.
Darklaw isn't my real name.
What? Then, what is your real name? It's Eve.
What?
Whoa!
You are Eve? Eve.
Spella.
My dear friend, Eve. It can't be. That flashback, was it real?
Darklaw, why are you doing this? Are you trying to undo everything I've accomplished in the past 10 years?
No, you have already ruined everything yourself.
What is it that you want?
What I want? My aim is to make the truth known so that everything returns to how it should be.
Miss Darklaw, will you tell us what you remember about what happened back then, more than 10 years ago?
It would be my pleasure. It was the day of the fire festival. Spella and I went up the bell tower. The wind was strong that day. When the sun had set, the festival began. It's true that the whole town burned down that day. The fire consumed buildings and people, turning them into ash. We were the only survivors. We stayed in the belfry while the world below us was being eaten by hungry flames. The legendary fire is no fable. It happened here more than 10 years ago.
Objection!
There are no such thing as magic and fire dragons, so how could a whole town be destroyed in just one night?
Yes, that's something I'd like to know as well. Even if we assume the celebratory fires got out of control, surely the whole town wouldn't have perished like that.
Now it all makes sense.
That was the missing piece of this puzzle. What do you mean, Professor? I can imagine now what transpired that night. What happened in the belfry, and what caused the legendary fire. We have all the clues we need. If the Inquisition has evidence to show us, I'd very much like to see it. What caused the legendary fire?
Have a look.
The cause of the fire is in the belfry. It was the bell? That bell had been made by the natives and later sealed underground. It was called the Bell of Ruin.
Bell of Ruin.
By the way, why does this bell have such an ominous name? Could it be because it's made of pure silver? Pure silver? Exactly. Mr. Kentabella has told us earlier.
Oh my gosh.
But everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition.
Oh my gosh.
This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck.
Oh my gosh.
That metal is pure silver. Yes, we've been told the condition is brought about by drinking the groundwater. Indeed. That bell was also the reason why the original inhabitants of this area decided to forsake it. It seems that the Bell of Ruin caused a devastating disaster. To those who have gained entry into the sanctum, heed our words. You must not ring the Bell of Ruin. So they rang it, probably by accident, causing everyone to be unconscious, and the fire spread and killed everyone. I can't help but wonder what disaster this bell had caused. An enormous bell made of pure silver, and the locals with their peculiar condition. It's not too hard to imagine what happened. It was probably the same calamity as the one that happened over 10 years ago. And that is, well, what disaster happened to this town before Labyrinthia was built? Oh, the legendary fire. Now, let us contemplate the following scenario. What would happen if the Bell of Ruin were sounded during the fire festival?
Oh,
Everyone who heard it would fall unconscious. As it was an annual festival, all the townspeople were assembled in the town square. Oh dear. Therefore, on the night of the fire festival, over 10 years ago, all the residents instantly lost consciousness when the bell was struck.
oh no.
Had it been even just slightly windy that day, the fires lit for the great witch Bazella would have gone out of control, and they would spread throughout the town with no one left to stop them. Because everyone was unconscious. Exactly. That also includes the two girls who were in the belfry. Spella and I. You were the closest to the source of the sound, so it was inevitable. When you recovered consciousness, it was already too late. The town had been swallowed by flames as if a fire dragon had come to burn it. That was a calamity caused by the bell. Calamity? You say here that the cause of calamity is the great witch Bazella. That night, in this very town, Bazella was more than a mythical persona.
Bazella. She's losing it again. The Bell of Ruin.